Hey everybody, Coach Troy here. Now I just got home and it looks like a package has arrived. So I've talked about it enough already, I've waited long enough, let's check out the Atari 2600 Plus. Alright, so looking at it just on the outside, box looks nice, what can I say? Got your colors on the back, got a little list of everything inside, as well as pics of all the different games on that 10 game cart. So we got that. Let's slice that tape open and see what we got inside. Oh, look at that. Fiona, you're blocking the view. I think she's more excited than some of us are. So inside here, this actually looks pretty cool. In this nice little plastic covered case, we got our Atari. Oh, and look at that. That definitely looks just like a little mini Atari. Alright, so here we are in a size comparison. Here's our original Woody, and here is our new 2600. Alright, so you definitely smaller. Otherwise, it looks very similar. Everything is similar. The colors, the orange and red. Even comparing all the buttons and plugs on the back. They're very similar. I guess this little plastic dent on the ridge is a little bit different. And obviously the power and HDMI are going to be a little different too. Compare that to the flashback. Flashback is obviously even smaller still, with actual switches though instead of these buttons. Otherwise, yeah, kind of similar. So that's the size difference of the three, the flashback, the Orig, and the Plus. It is a little lighter, but it still has enough weight to it to actually feel like something. You know, not like one of these, which has zero weight at all, but not nearly as chunky as this one. The dust covers are also slightly different. Here's a new one, old one. Let's get that old crap out of the way and focus on all the new stuff in the box. We got our quick guide setup reference here. And 2 more boxes to explore. Alright, you stay there. Jesus. Alright, first in this one, let's see what we got. We're going to have our HDMI cord, if you don't have one of these already. Somehow I've managed to grab like 30 of these things. I don't know why. So this power cord infamously does not come with a little brick. You got to supply your own. Kind of annoying. It's just a small thing, but you know, what if you don't have one, or you're using all your bricks on your other devices, phone chargers, whatever. I don't know. Just a little inconvenience thing, I think. Should have had one. That's all we got in this box. Seems kind of big for just 2 wires. And not even a brick. So the real fun stuff's got to be in this one, right? And there it is, right on top. The 10-in-1 games cart. Comes in a little cardboard sleeve, slides out. Interesting, on the bottom of there you don't have that same dust cover spring in there. On the back of the cart here we got our switches. And on the front here it's going to show which games go to which switches. Like the classic design on the top here. And let's dig down a little deeper into the box. Jesus, cat. And there we go. Shoom. Get that off of there. And there we've got our joystick. And that looks about spot on. I believe this is just pretty much the exact same thing, right? Looks clean. Feels a little stiff, but not as bad as some of the controllers are. Alright. Which one's which? They look about exactly the same, so I believe that's the purpose, right? And they feel about pretty similar. Yeah, they feel just about the same too. Might be slightly looser, and that could just be a difference in any joystick. Now I found where they're different. Looking at those bottoms. Way to blow it, Atari. Alright, but enough of that. Time to get in what we're really here for, and that's playing some games. Let's get to it. Alright, we're going to turn this sucker on and see what she looks like. Cool. Got an Atari loading screen. It's not exactly a... Oh, there we go. Loading game. And bam, we have adventure. We're just going to start with this first version of it. Oh, come on, get in there. Steal a sword. Ha. Gotcha, sucker. Huh? Flip that key around. Don't really need the magnet. I'll grab that chalice. Oh, there we go. Alright. Easy level defeated. Let's try the next game. And we're loading. Next up we got... Well, this one's not going to work too well because it's just me here playing. But this one is the classic. Lots of fun two-player game of combat. And as you can see, it works just fine. Alright, let's get on to that next one. Alright, next up we're going to have Doujum. Jeez, let's see if I remember how to play this one. Okay, there we go. Now I'm remembering. Oop. That did not go well. I never really played this one before, so don't judge me. Let's give this one more shot. Oh, I feel cheated. It's like a race car pac-man. Oof, not doing too well. Oh, okay, this is not my game. I'm going to move on to the next one. Now this is 100% more my jam. Oh! Okay, maybe not so much right away. But Haunted House, one of my absolute favorites. I really like this game a lot. Oh, I'm not getting any... Oh, there's an earned piece. Alright, got one. Alright, 2 pieces. One more to go. Alright, sweet. Find that. Alright, that was just the intro easy level. It gets way harder when you do more. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I really do love this game. One of my absolute favorites. Alright, next up we got Maze Craze. That's a 2-player game. Admittedly, one I haven't really done a whole lot of. But as you can see, we're just racing through a maze. Oh, this actually would be... This would be great with a second player. I'm going to have to get someone to come play with. Oh. Bama. Yeah, this one definitely great, but you need a second player, so on to the next. Now this one is one I actually didn't really like when I was younger, but as I'm older now, I'm really appreciating this one a lot more. I don't know. Not sure why I didn't like it so much as a kid. I just didn't. But this one looks good, plays well. I mean, yes, a trackball is the best way to go with it. But the controller's feeling good, and it's playing pretty well, so... On to the next one. Boom. Now here's one I am surprised they added, but I'm so glad they did. This is one of my favorite games. It just plays so well. Very underrated. Yeah, it controls way better than you think it should. Like, it looks like it's gonna be terrible. Man, yeah, it's just it plays real smooth, very solid. I mean, you guys move in tandem, but somehow it just works. Spike set smash. Let's do this. Or wait, not. It's dig set smash, bump set smash. Those are the words. Bump set smash. Oh, didn't even get to smash it. All right, on to the next one. All right, we got Surround here. It's another two-player game. I'm not sure which mode you got to put it in to get the single player. So I really wish I had a manual. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright, so they put a surprising amount of two-player games in here, so this one's definitely single-player. And pinball. Although this one is kind of a strange one. I don't know why they picked this one to go in, but I guess it's just because it's kind of real different. It's not a sports game, it's not a shooter, it's not an adventure game. Just something a little different. Kind of don't even got to do anything. I'll just let the ball bounce around all by its lonesome. Oh, seriously? It finally went through and it goes straight down the middle? Ugh. Just using the joystick to move the flippers. Right, left, up does both. Yeah, hit the ball. Oh, come on. That's twice now. I've only hit the ball one time. On the third one. I only had one chance to hit it. There we go. 2 hits. Yeah, so much for that. On to the next. And lastly, here we're going to have Yar's Revenge. After going through all these different games, I'm really wishing they would have put a menu on instead of the switches. I mean, the switches are cool and all, but a menu would have been just way better. There we go. Let's take a look at what it looks like to do full screen. Now we're playing full screen here. It doesn't look completely terrible. I was thinking it would look a lot worse. It just maybe just this game, but it doesn't look too bad. And I'm toast. Alright, I think that's enough checking out this original set of games here. So this is everything that you get in the box. So what do I think about it? Well, let's just break it down part by part, starting off with the controller. The controller's great. It looks just like the orig. It feels like the orig. It pretty much is the orig. I think it's comfortable. I know some people say that, after playing for this for too long, it gets your hand cramps up, whatever. I've never had that issue. I've always thought that this was a solid, good controller. No problems for me here. I like it. Only issue I got with it is maybe it could have used a longer cord because of how far away, most TV setups are nowadays. A longer cord would have been probably a huge part. But outside of that, really like the controller. Only thing I really don't like is there's only one of them. This really should have come with 2. What are you going to do? All right, and now looking at the games, 10-in-1. I like that it was a multi-card. It wasn't just one pack-in game. It was a set of 10 games on one. I like that it comes with an actual dust cover. The switches on the back for picking your game, it's all right. I think it works. I mean, when I was cycling through the games, I was a little annoyed, and I was kind of hoping for that menu, like we can go through. But I'm thinking you're not going to be switching through games as quickly as I was, so it won't be as much of a problem unless you're just cycling through. Otherwise, so the switches, they're fine. The selection of games, though, that's the thing. The selection of games. There's 5 on here I really like. I love Adventure. Haunted House is great. Real Sports Volleyball is one of my favorite games, and I think one of the most underrated of all time. So you got a good sports game there. Your Shooter, Yar's Revenge. That's a good one. That's a classic. And Missile Command I like. I think that one's pretty solid. Dodge 'em, I don't know. It's like a like race car Pac-Man thingy. I don't know. I don't think Dodge 'em's that great of a game. Video pinball, it's all right. You can play around with it for a little while. Then you got the Combat, the Maze Craze, and Surround. Now, these are games that are best with two players. On Combat, you can only play with two players. And again, you got one controller. So if all you got is the box, you got one game you can't even play. And two that have options for playing single player, but really the best options are the two-player versions of those games. So it's you're betting 500 on the games you got in there. I mean, you got good ones. I love Adventure, Haunted House, again, favorites. Good stuff in there, but you're only halfway there if all you got is your base set here. And there's no instructions, right? An instruction manual would be nice. Um, Again, you can look up the manuals on Atari Age. You can see everything there. You can look it all up online. But I wanted stuff I just wanted a manual I could grab and scroll through without hopping on my phone or computer to look it up. It should be right there. It should be accessible. So the fact that there wasn't a manual is a little bit, it's disappointing. Plus, there's a cabin I like to go to every summer. This is my own personal thing. And in that cabin, there is zero Wi-Fi. So if I bring this up and I got to look something up in a manual, I don't have it. I mean, for most of the Atari games I have now, I don't have a manual because they're that old. But, that was just something we deal with as collectors. As, retro game players. It didn't even have to be a huge manual, smaller print even. I don't know. Well, some of us are going a little blind. But, whatever. And lastly, looking at the console itself. I love the look of this thing. Again, it's nice looking, very nice. It actually looks like the refurbished one I got with these chrome knobs on here. It looks very nice. In front, it's exact replica. It's an exact replica, just slightly smaller, and it's not too tiny. And it's got that good weight to it. That feels great. It's just solid. I also like the HDMI. It's nice to just be able to plug that right into your TV without having to do any weird stuff, not having to hope that your wires are connecting and working. So that is nice. It is, I don't know, part of it kind of looks a little too clean for an Atari. Is that nitpicking? Probably. Power cord, probably need a longer power cord. It is not the longest, and just for where it's going to be plugged in, I mean, especially since you might have to pull this thing a little bit closer to you because of the length of the controllers. Yeah, you might need a longer power cord and a longer HDMI cord, unless you've got a close setup. In most normal TV setups, you're going to need those longer wires. And the fact that, yes, this is how it was. It was the plug-in in the back, but a plug-in in the front or a side or something a little bit different. This, I love again, you could have switched something up without affecting the look of it, but having the plug-in ports be somewhere else. It wasn't a great design having your plug-in ports in the back of the system. That's why maybe only one other or two other systems did that ever since, and those systems were generally failures. And I like that just a little neat thing, the Atari there lights up when you turn it on. So that's kind of cool. Just a nice little feature. Again, I just love the way this thing looks. It's not as instant as turning on a regular Atari 2600. It does have that short loading screen. That's not a problem, though. It's just something that's a little bit different that you'd have to get used to. No big deal, right? You don't even have to get used to it. It's like 2 seconds, so that's fine. So looking at it just as the package, what's in the box? Well, like I say, there's some hits and there's also some misses. So, it is what it is. But I will say that for most of us who are getting this, we're not getting it because this is all we're getting. It's all we have. We're getting it because a lot of us will have other controllers. You can buy them online, but most of us, we will have other controllers like this that we can use. And with the games, you're batting 500, 5 good games, 5 okay games. At least that's my personal opinion. Everyone's going to be a little different. But outside of that, a lot of us are going to have our own collection of games, or we were going to be looking to collect games, because Atari is still, while retro games have kind of skyrocketed in price for a lot of things, you can still find these suckers for super, super cheap. So getting more games is not going to be a problem. In fact, I'm looking forward to playing what I got and what I'm going to be finding pretty soon. That being said, my next video is going to be me testing out several of the games that I've got already. Alright, so that's my thoughts so far. Tell me what you think. You liking what you see? What's great? What needs to be improved? How do you think Atari did? Let me know. This is Coach Troy. I'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for joining me as I start my journey into the world of retro gaming. If you're interested in my other hobbies of fitness or board games, check out my other channel. Anyways, this is Coach Troy. I'll see y'all next time.